Good morning and welcome back to my channel, or more specifically, welcome to my kitchen. Today I wanted to chat to you guys about sweet cravings. So for me, this has been intense since becoming pregnant. But even before becoming pregnant, I have a pretty big sweet tooth and I do love, all things like cakes and cookies. When you're trying to eat a, paleo-based, grain-free, sugar-free, not processed diet can be a little bit of a challenge. So I've had to get really creative these last couple of months because, like I said, all I want is sugar. And I know I don't want actual refined sugar because I did have a little bit, particularly during my first trimester. It made me feel really sick and just not good. It broke my skin out. So these are basically the things I've been having to kind of hit that sweet spot, satisfy my craving, and still feel really good. First thing that I've been having is protein shakes. Now, normally when I have protein shakes, I'm all about like a fruity protein shake or healthy protein shakes. No longer. So I've been absolutely smashing the lean protein in the salted caramel flavor by Topeka, along with their cacao powder, to make a Snickers protein shake. So it tastes like Snickers, but it tastes delicious, definitely. It's chocolatey, it's peanut buttery, it's caramelly. The first thing you want to put into your smoothie is ice, obviously. I like mine really like slushy texture, so I tend to put a lot of ice, but obviously just put as much to make the consistency of your choice. You also want to put in some banana. I pre-freeze my banana because it makes them last longer. As soon as they start going brown and they look like they're about to go off, I freeze them, so I've always got frozen bananas on hand. I don't need to worry about running out. It's way cheaper than buying frozen bananas. I'm gonna go one big half banana and then topping up with a nut milk. So I'm using almond milk. It's easily my favorite. I really like this one because it only has 4 ingredients, and I'm just kind of topping that to cover the ice. Now we go in with the protein. So I'm using the lean protein in the salted caramel flavor. I think this one works really well in this smoothie because caramel Snickers, like, yes, but I have tried it with their vanilla lean protein and it does work with the vanilla as well. I'm doing 1 heaped tablespoon of that, the cacao powder for that chocolatey kind of hit. Just gonna do like 1 level teaspoon of that. We're also going to go in with some dates. So this is going to add a little bit more caramel to it. A small handful. These are just dried dates. The medjool dates do go down a lot better, but they're expensive and I eat a lot of these smoothies, so the dried dates do work fine. Obviously, it's going to have peanut butter in it because what is Snickers without peanut butter? So I really like this brand. They've got a 5-star health rating, which is pretty good. And their ingredients are roasted peanuts and sea salt. So there's no additives, there's no preservatives. There's nothing in there that there shouldn't be. And I get this in the smooth because it is basically just the best for baking. 1 pretty big teaspoon plops in nice and easy, and it's, yeah, great for baking, great for smoothies, which is all around when I mostly have peanut butter. And last ingredient is a crack of sea salt. So this just gives that salted caramel flavor, which I really like. And that is your Snickers smoothie. It is so good. Snickers. Peanut butter, caramel, chocolate. Can't go wrong. The next thing that I've been absolutely smashing is homemade treats. So it definitely helps that I absolutely love to bake. I love baking healthy alternatives. And so I baked a couple of things this weekend, which I really enjoyed. These cookies are inspired by Sarah's Days recipe, so I will link her post on my Instagram. If you go to @NicoleMarieFitstagram, you'll be able to see it there. I'll pop a link in the description below. But basically, these cookies are incredible. They're made with almond meal and coconut flour is what I used, as well as a little bit of tapioca flour, Loving Earth chocolate, dates, and currants. So they're grain-free, they're gluten-free, they're dairy-free, and they're absolutely delicious. They're a huge hit, and I have been like eating the shit out of them. The other thing I was baking, which was also quite popular in my house, there's only 2 of us, and I baked this 2 days ago, is this blondie slice. So it's basically like a brownie, except a blondie, because it's vanilla flavor. And this was actually a recipe that I adapted from Better Being Steph on Instagram, which again, I will definitely link down below and on my Instagram. And it's made from chickpea, but it doesn't taste like chickpeas. It tastes delicious. It's a huge hit. It's like cookie doughy, peanut buttery, very tasty. So I would recommend making that. Both of those were so easy to whip up. Speaking of Loving Earth chocolate, which is what I used for both of those baked creations to keep them chocolate chip, but also dairy-free and cane sugar-free, all of that kind of like good stuff. Loving Earth chocolate is literally amazing. Everyone kind of says, you know, like, oh, what's the difference between Loving Earth chocolate and normal chocolate? And the answer is pretty much everything. Loving Earth chocolate is gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. It's all organic. It's made from like coconut nectar and nut milks. You don't feel really sick after eating it, even if you do eat the entire block, like I have been known to do. You can get this online from their website, which I'll link down below. I got this from one of those like Scoopy health food shops. The one near me sells it. Literally ran out of it because I've been eating the shit out of it, and I needed some for my baking. Normally I would buy it online direct from them. They've got a whole bunch of flavors. I just got milk because I was, yeah, baking with it, but it's something that I always like to have in my pantry. My absolute favorite flavor is the coffee cacao. It is so good, and raspberry is also super tasty, and so is mint. They're all really good. But last thing I will talk about from Loving Earth, and probably my favorite, although it's a pretty tight race, are these chocolate cluster bikinis. So what is in it is activated buckwheat, evaporated coconut nectar, coconut chips, cacao powder, currants, raw cacao nibs, and cranberries. And they're all certified organic. They recommend having it as a cereal, which I have done, and it tastes like Cocoa Pops. It's like having healthy Cocoa Pops. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't generally have it as a cereal. I just reach into the packet and eat it like granola, straight, constantly. I just snack on it. It's crunchy, it feels like food, because there's lots of little pieces as well as big pieces. It's the kind of thing you can just pick at, and oh, it's good. I've also been absolutely obsessing over fruit. Fruit and dried fruit. Mostly the latter, which is not as good for you as normal fruit. It is very high in sugar, but it is all natural sugar. So, I mean, if you're going to have sugar, this is definitely kind of a better sugar to be having, because it is a little bit more natural and hopefully good for you. We'll go with it. At the moment, I've been obsessing over dates, these fat medjool dates. You can also get the pitted dates, and you can get them, you can actually get them from the supermarket, or you can get them from health food stores. They're not as good because they're like quite dried out, but they're still quite tasty, and I do still smash them. But these are definitely my favorite. I'm also obsessed with dried fig. Look at that. That's so delicious. The dried figs are amazing. I'm obsessed. I've also been kind of rotating some other dried fruits into the equation. Currants. Currants are really good because you can just eat them, or you can bake with them. I've been baking with them heaps because they just add that pop of sweetness, and they're also really cheap. I've also been a huge fan of dried cranberries. I love dried cranberries. They're delicious. They're so sweet. And goji berries. Goji berries are amazing. I've been rotating them in quite a lot as well. What you want to make sure with any dried fruit though is that you are getting it from a health food shop or somewhere that's like a little bit more natural. I try to get organic ones when I can. I also want to make sure that there's no added sugar to them. You don't need additives, so things like preservatives and sugars and even like apple juice concentrate and stuff like that, it's just adding to it and it's so not necessary. I make sure when I am buying dried fruit that I'm buying 100% dried fruit. I don't want anything else in there. Of course, been smashing like the real fruit, things like bananas, things like apples. I've also been loving plums. Plums are so good. They're really tasty and they're still in season, so that's been really good. And dried Inca berries. If you haven't tried dried Inca berries, they're a little bit sour. They taste like sour candy, but again, I hate them all. The last kind of sweet treat that I've been absolutely smashing to hit my cravings is frozen fruit. So frozen fruit, particularly at the moment when things like berries are just not in season. Frozen fruit, things like raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, pink dragon fruit. Get it. It's so good. It's so subtle and just like really sweet and tasty. You can have these by themselves, which I like to do, and the coldness kind of slows down how quickly you eat them. Or you can put in a little bit of coconut yogurt with them. I love doing this because these are so cold, they kind of like freeze the coconut yogurt and make like an ice creamy. I really recommend doing that, and obviously this is a way healthier alternative. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this has given you some good ideas of how you can hit your sweet craving. If there's anything else that you guys recommend, please drop it down in the comments below because I need help, seriously. But hope you have a wonderful day. If you did like this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and click to subscribe and support my channel. Hope to see you next time. Bye.